Hey, how's it going? So, thank you so much for coming to my PDF show again. And this is where I kind of mumble about programming design on Fridays. So, thank you so much for coming. And let's get started. And today, the goal is to actually remake this prototype. The idea is that this the menu on the top, and it's supposed to be responsive, so I can actually resize it. You see, when I resize, it changes the appearance on the top um, this menu bar, and as I you know resize it to the mobile view, and it'll hide all the items and put everything into this hamburger menu. Again, let's resize it, and we see two panels over there, but on mobile view, and there's going to be only one panel. So how are we gonna do it? Just take a second to think about it. Of course, like if we're gonna do it in a way that like if we use code, use CSS and the media queries to do that, and we'll be able to do pretty much everything that we want. Or if you use JavaScript to query the side of the window, we can do that. But today I wanted to focus on just like doing it with no code, basically without any code, and then try to use what Framer has on its canvas, and let's see how far we can get to this. Okay, so if we go back over here, just 1 second, let me grab the node. Right, so before I start, I want to say like the in terms of a responsive in terms of support for the responsive design, I like what Webflow has a lot better than Framer has actually. So if you're familiar with Webflow, maybe I'll just show you right here. This is Webflow, and the thing is like it has this responsiveness built in. It's really great. You have this desktop as a base breakpoint, and you have tablet landscape, or like a mobile portrait or something. Like you can add as many breakpoints as it makes sense. And if you add something there, let's say just add some text right there. So this is some text. Yeah, so that's the text. So now it'll have some baseline value over there. You see we have the font size. Maybe we can change it to 40 or something. And what I like about this is that you can go to another view to set a different value according to the screen size or something, like 30, and that's the iPad view, and it'll change accordingly. And the nice thing is that you can actually inherit all the stuff that that you have on the base breakpoint, and you don't have to specify everything. You basically reuse a lot of things and overwrite as appropriate. So overwrite as necessary, and you can actually reset. You can reset to the inherited value or something like that. So I really hope that Framer has something like this, but so far we don't have that. But let's see how what kind of thing that we can do in terms of supporting responsive design in Framer. Okay, and the very first thing is that let's create a frame like that. It'll allow us to set the device size, right? So this is useful. For example, let's set it to MacBook Air. Maybe might be too big for my resolution, but yes, that's quite big. Actually, let's make it smaller, and let's just make it like that. just I don't know, just choose a random size so that I can actually show you in this webinar. But the thing is, like, whenever you put something onto the canvas, onto a frame, and for example you put one thing over here, or you put another thing over here, and you see that, like, if I put, maybe I put a few more on those four corners, I just copy those blocks over there, and then if we resize the parent frame, and you'll see it actually, sort of makes sense, right? So we put those two into the four corners, it'll always stay at those corners. So that's the kind of the first level of support for responsiveness in Framer, is that it automatically set something up so that it'll try to be correct when we resize the frame. So that is like, first of all, if we select this one, if you look at the right, and there are like four pins, those top, left, right, and if you can actually manually set those pins. You can see this actually the effect of this pin by looking at the symbolization just right below, and that's a useful animation. So let's say if you actually turn off this right pin, and this behaves a little bit different, right? And actually, let me go back to the canvas over there, and let's put a thing here, right? Put a thing here, and if by default it'll try to guess what kind of a pin you want. But let's say let's turn the left pin off and top pin off, and it should stay in the middle no matter how we resize the frame. So now it actually stays in the middle, right? And you can also basically pin it four corners so that it'll resize along with the parent frame. So again, this is a kind of first level of support for responsiveness just right on the canvas of Framer. And we don't forget that we want to build this menu, right? Let's say how we are gonna build it, right? Okay. Actually, let's put those two panels over there. One panel and second panel. Yeah, so I should have made it better looking, but I just didn't have time. But let's just make it like that. And then how do we make it so that, like, by default, if we resize it, it'll behave like that, right? That is probably not what we want. We can actually pin this guy, like pin the left side as well, so that it will know how to adjust its size according to the parent frame. Okay, that's the first step. Now it comes to the question, how are we gonna, like, we want it so that when our panel is this small, like a mobile phone, we want to hide this yellow panel, the panel on the left. We want to show whatever content only. How are we gonna do that? So far, the best way, or the only way that I found in Framer, is that we're gonna have to create a new frame. Create a new frame that has with the desired size. Okay, and then just remove that guy and just put it there. And then we're gonna use a component just insert a component which is called responsive layout from Steep Roots. So this is a component that we want. Just install that, and I think there are some similar component as well. But let's use this one, and then show and insert. Actually, we want to move it outside. And then if we connect with those two frames, and I think we'll be able to get the desired responsiveness. See, it's kind of weird. Maybe we want to switch the order of those two. Yeah, so the idea is that, like, you know, if we are this wide, we're gonna use 2 panels, and but if we actually are narrower than the frame on the left, it'll use this layout. I wonder if it's possible to make it. Yeah, I think that's how it kind of works. Yeah, let's just leave with that for now. Now the next is like this is roughly what we wanted, right? So we resize, and it'll choose a frame accordingly. And this is also the case in preview, right here in the preview, but it actually does not resize as what we wanted. And this is a one option that we need to turn on over here. There's a responsive option right here for the preview. We want to click on that, and after that, and it'll become a resizable window. So this is more or less what we wanted, right? And we can actually share this prototype as well, like what I did. We can actually share it over there, and if we open the prototype, and it'll become kind of a shareable prototype that other people can look at. How do we actually turn this off? Okay. Now next step is this menu. Again, this menu has some properties. Like you see, this always stay on the right, and it actually changes, like, if you increase it, and you have a new item on the right, but this menu always try to be positioned properly according to the size of the window. How are we gonna do it? So let's do it. So, like, first of all, we want to use this stack. The stack is pretty similar to a flex layout of a flex box, actually. So put a stack there over there. Oops. Put a stack, and then if we put stuff inside, let's put subscriber. Oh, I cannot type. Subscribers. This is context, and you can add applications, whatever, and add another one, maybe broadcast, and we can add an icon as well. Let's say icon set, and just insert a random icon. We don't care. But the idea is that if we put stuff into a stack, and we can actually rearrange them pretty nicely, and it'll try to actually put stuff in its correct place accordingly. And of course, we can adjust its setting. Let's say we want it to be a space between, so that we can easily set its padding. So we can do so like that. And we have a few things there. And what is? Let's try this guy, right? This hamburger menu on the right, and we can actually insert a stack inside a stack. So yeah, let's do that. Let's insert a stack inside. Maybe why do I want to insert a stack inside a stack? That's because for this one we have multiple items. So let me put an icon set again. I think this guy is called menu. This guy is called menu, and that's fine. And then like I said, we can insert a stack inside the stack. Did it work? Let's put a stack there. Okay, that's a stack. And we want to add this, like an icon and then a text and maybe another icon. So 3 things. Icon, and we want it like a user. I think it's called user, and some text, and the third icon. Gonna be up air or up chevron or something. Chevron down. Anyway, let's just leave it with that. Chevron down. This guy. Okay. Yeah, of course, this is even uglier than the prototype that I show you, but you know, the idea is to actually show you how this works, right? Now this basically has all the stuff that we want in this menu, but of course at this point we don't want this icon, right? We don't want this icon. We can actually either delete it, or actually if we just hide it, and it'll be removed from the layout and it'll actually look pretty nice. So if we go right click and hide, or maybe command semicolon, or command like a control semicolon on Windows, so it'll hide it. It'll be the kind of desktop layout that we want, right? And actually let's make another like kind of iPad view. Let's make a copy of everything. Just move it right there. See, like, you know, a lot of manual setup in order to support this. Like, I can make it shorter. And on this one, we want to actually hide the whole thing. At this one, if we hide this, and it'll be more or less visible. So it'll look slightly better, right? And also for the mobile view, we're gonna basically hide all the other icons except the hamburger menu. Okay, so that's the kind of menus that we have, and let's check it out, see if it actually works. Oh, I need to connect the responsively component to for this one as well. Okay, let's see if it's actually what we want, and it sure is, right? So it changes according to the width. So again, to kind of quickly wrap up, is that we have this stack, and we can put stack inside a stack. We can hide item inside a stack, so that other items will be aligned properly. So the spacing, the stuff, that it'll work properly. And then with that, we'll have this responsive layout to connect to different frames, so that we can have this kind of look of responsive site like that. But again, like I mentioned, I really prefer what Webflow has, is that you can have basically the same item across different layout, and we can just for those one, we can set different properties according to the viewport size, but it's always about the same item, right? It's always about we can also inherit values from the previous breakpoint. But this one, it's we have to make a copy of everything that we want to display on the on each frame, which is not really optimal. And like right now, it's just a static markup, right? If we want to make it dynamic, if we want to add some animations or whatever to this item, quickly you will want to have the ability to basically have only one set of stuff, and you want to basically do what you would be able to do in Webflow. So that's something kind of on my wish list of a framework. But we can actually do one thing a little bit better than what we are currently doing here, is that instead of basically directly copying those things there, we have just this is a copy. But if we change something there, and it won't affect other items, right? So let's say if we change the color of this icon, and it'll be only this icon, it does not affect other ones. Like I said, this is a really inconvenient thing if we want to add some common behavior to those menu items. And what we can do better is that actually, let's get rid of this one and this one, and we can turn this menu into a design component. So if you right click or Command K, we can actually create a component, and let's name it menu navigation, maybe navigation. Okay, let's name it navigation, and then now we can add a few copies over there. Now what I just added on the second frame is an instance of that design component. Now let's change select to 0. Okay, that look better, and also for this frame as well. Okay. Left 0, right 0, and the nice thing about this is that let me actually turn this on, turn the icon on, but remove the stack on the right to make it really the one. Is that for each instance we can tweak its configuration, right? So we can change that, and also let's say hide everything like that. And whenever we change the master, which is basically the first item that we created, and we ran the create component command over there, and we can actually change this component so that it'll it'll affect other items, right? Why this is not? This is interesting. Okay. Now if I change the master again, let's see, that should change, right? So right now I'm just changing the color of the hamburger menu just to show what we can do, and of course we can do a lot more, resizing, and actually the other one that I want to show you is to basically add a kind of, let's just add an empty frame as maybe. I'm trying to add a drop up, like a kind of drop down menu over there. Okay, just leave with that, and we can actually use a stack to clean it up a bit. And maybe use 30. Okay, let's pretend that's a created that's a created menu, and then we can connect to this guy and select click now, and over here in the transition, instead of a magic motion, by default it's magic motion, and we'll change it to overlay. Okay, so let's test it out, right? And don't forget to hide it, because on the desktop we will already have everything. We don't need to see this menu. So if we hide it there, and it'll still be visible in the other two frames. And okay, so now if let's lock it there, all this is frame. Okay, now if I click this guy, we'll have the menu. We didn't have to do anything with it, right? We only need to set the menu on the master component. It'll basically pass all the configuration to all the instances. Right. Yeah, so this is actually what I wanted to show you today. So this is about like using whatever we have on canvas of a framer in order to implement this responsiveness of the windows. Actually, the one that I shared with you the link with is actually not this responsive layout component. It's another one. I think it's called resizable window or something. Yeah, resizable window. And what it does is basically it actually have this responsive layout built in, but it also make a kind of Chrome, make a window over there so that you can resize that window inside your preview instead of resizing the browser window. So you can actually play with that. It's the same idea. Okay, that's what I have today. Let's see if you guys have any questions. Okay, there's one question. If we were build this from scratch, just using code mode rather than design, will we final product to be good as a web page? Yeah, if we are gonna use code, and like depending on how you build it, I think even with code, you can have a way. You can make it like a you can use a kind of prototype way of coding, or maybe productive like production mode of coding, right? I think the idea is that like over here in the design view is that you want to communicate what your design is going to look like, and that's where you want to kind of really find a good balance between the capability of what you can do right here, or the speed of what we can do. I think on canvas in general it's faster than doing it in code, but not necessarily. Sometimes, like after some initial setup, it'll be actually faster than you can do, or what you can do with that drag and drop on the canvas. The reason I guess is by using the design. Yeah, so there's another question. How about linking hamburger menu on the tablet? The menu items are, yeah, so you can do that. Let's try that. Maybe let's just put a tablet menu there, and by default it'll inherit basically what we had in the master component, but you can definitely link it to the tablet overview, and then in the preview it should show up differently. But why it does not? Okay, tablet. So that's tablet menu, and over here it's gonna be the mobile menu, right? Awesome. So that's all I have today. And then next time, maybe I'll try to do some code for this exact example or something. I'll just explore a little bit, so that I will send you an email when I have something. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, and have a great weekend, guys. Bye bye.